Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 10th and final episode of this season of Unmasking COVID-19. On this episode of Unmasking COVID, we have Yuan Chen, a university student, Hiral Thakur, the president of John Fraser's peer mentoring team, mindfulness coach, and the creator of the platform Holistically Hiral, and Maya from Mind Your Mind's Youth Experts Program. Mind Your Mind is a space actively promoting the intersection between mental health, wellness, and technology by working with young people to, quote, co-create interactive tools and innovative resources to build capacity and resilience, unquote. So I guess to kick off, would you like to introduce yourself? Also, Maya, could you elaborate on your role as a member of the Mind Your Mind's Youth Experts Program?
I guess I can go first then. So my name is Maya. My pronouns are they and them, and I am a high school student working with Mind Your Mind. Mind Your Mind, like it was said, is a co-creative program creating tools and resources. And for myself, I am creating a resource for foster youth and children who have been through police system and just a lot of life trauma, and it's going to be a workbook on mental health resources.
I can go next. My name is Hiral Thakur, and I just finished grade 12 in Mississauga, so I am indeed part of the quarantine class of 2020, and I'll be heading to Queens next year for health sciences. And as Serena did mention, I was the peer mentoring chair at my high school, so we basically led a lot of wellness initiatives and workshops, and I kind of translated that a lot into my community and to my social media platform. So I work a lot with people of all ages in terms of mindfulness, wellness, holistic health, and just to promote a positive lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Yuan Chen. I'm a university student at the University of Waterloo studying chemical engineering, and my involvement is not as related to mental health as our other two guests, but I can offer a perspective on what it's like being a university and being in a program that is very involved at times and how the coronavirus has impacted that and well-being.
Yeah, sounds great. It's great having all three of you on today. So I guess to kind of begin with, this pandemic obviously has brought with it a lot of challenges and changes to all our lifestyle, regardless of like what background we're coming from. So I guess the first question is how has this pandemic affected your mental health?
I guess I can speak to that first. So I would say being part of the graduating class of 2020, I could say it definitely impacted all of us graduates, since unfortunately we weren't able to spend the last few moments of high school together. And we're obviously moving on to a new chapter of our lives, but it will be a very different and unique experience for all of us. And another thing I guess I can add to that is a lot of members in my family are actually frontline workers. And even though we're so proud and so extremely thankful that they've been able to serve our community through these tough times, we've also been quite worried for them and their well-being. And yeah, I would say due to social distancing, I think all of us have had the opportunity to spend more time with family and our loved ones. But we've also been much more secluded from our community. So I think that definitely has the capacity to take a toll on our mental health.
And like with being the graduating class and also having a lot of people working in the front line, that definitely must be an experience and have an impact on your mental health.
Absolutely. Like I as I mentioned, I'm so proud and so thankful that I'm able to have family that cares so much about our community, but at the same time, we are all so worried for them just because of the virus and the pandemic going on right now. But once again, I couldn't be more thankful that they're able to serve our community.
I guess I can go. Like you said, the pandemic has brought so many changes into everybody's lives, and thankfully I was homeschooled throughout grade 9, so I didn't have to go through the weird and awkward transition of like school to home and back again or whatever. But I guess for myself, as somebody who has struggled with mental health in the past, it's been kind of rough to not have my regular supports available and ready at all times, at least in person, and just, I had to find new ways to cope, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Like both of you mentioned, there are different ways like mental health can affect you, and definitely working with mental health beforehand, the pandemic definitely does bring with it a lot of different challenges too. Yeah. What about you, Ewan?
I think that the main change the pandemic has brought upon my lifestyle is mostly the switch from a very material kind of daily routine to something very immaterial. Uh, Online classes and recently after classes have ended, transitioning to work, I fully expected to complete the first term in person. As a academic representative for my class at university, we were told right up until the day that we were brought home that classes would definitely be in person, if not exams would definitely be in person. So it was definitely a very sudden change. Being an engineering program, I feel like lacking that kind of hands-on experience was a big part of that affected my mental health, because it's that sort of being able to produce something physically as part of your daily work or school is really important to me in terms of keeping my mental health up. And same thing with work. I found that remote work, it's very difficult to connect with your coworkers and kind of make those connections that you'd want to in order to further your career, which has definitely had an impact on mental health too.
Right. So we're seeing all these different changes in our lifestyles, and we really need to make sure that at this time we're taking care of ourselves. And one really big theme about taking care of yourself is taking care of your mental health. So what are some things that you've done to really take care of your mental health during this time?
I know you guys want to hear about baking, as previously mentioned, you guys mentioned before in an outside conversation. So I think that baking is a really good thing to do as a productive hobby, and productive hobbies in general are good for mental health because you get to take a break from this very digital, virtual world that we're living in right now and focus on something in real life. It's really nice to kind of disconnect from this constant stream of bad news we're getting, and maybe the stress of living at home or interacting with people that you usually don't see as much, like seeing your family at all times during the day instead of having school. I've been making things pretty much every week. The main problem I've had is finding someone to eat them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on the baking there. I make a crazy good banana bread if anyone needs a recipe. But yeah, I definitely agree. I would say cooking, baking, learning TikToks has been a family favorite of mine. And I would say just overall spending time with loved ones. I would say most important thing I started to focus on is just my overall well-being. Like I'll spend about an hour a day working out and just making sure that I have some time for self-care every single day. So whether it's putting on a face mask or having a warm bath or just meditating before I go to bed to just unwind. And I would say during times like these where everything is just so up in the air and so unpredictable, it's okay to feel upset and feel worried and feel anxious. However, I cannot stress enough how important it is to prioritize your mental health. You need to be kind to your mind is what I always say. And we're quite fortunate to live in a community where mental health resources are so readily available. And I believe that due to the pandemic, there is an even greater amount of resources available for everyone. So being able to kind of take advantage of all the resources that are available around you and just taking the time to appreciate yourself and focus on self-care and your well-being and your mental health is so important during times like these.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there are resources available, but I guess like another thing that comes with the pandemic itself is because everything is kind of virtual. A lot of the resources that you would have had that were like in person, it might be harder to kind of realize what supports you have. So I think it's also good to, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, mhm.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to kind of realize that the virtual may not be their thing, but I do appreciate the fact that many organizations and foundations are being very accommodating in the sense that there's a few, I believe it is the Canadian Psychological Association, like they're offering psychological services to frontline healthcare workers like free of charge. So I really do appreciate the fact that so many companies and organizations are just going out of their way to be so accommodating and offer resources.
I think for myself and how I take care of my mental health is just getting outside. I'm a part of a hiking group, and obviously when we hike, we all stand 6 feet away. But just getting out into nature and not being cooped up in my room all the time, it's really helped, settle my mind, give me time to think, and just be in a community again, because community is so important, regardless if it's virtual or in person. As people were made to connect, and I feel a lot of people are not having that anymore because of not being able to see each other, and also reaching out is super important. I've reached out to my youth leaders and to my friends and to adults in my life, and I cannot stress how important reaching out is, because if you don't talk about it, it's never going to get better. And yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that maybe it's because we're starting to enter the stages of reopening, but there's been a lot of people outside, I've noticed. It's really nice to see kind of everybody getting out into your community. I feel like more so than before the pandemic, actually. There's more people outside and not in buildings and things. But yeah, it's really nice to just go out and even take your like morning meeting calls outside or something. Put your laptop in your backyard or something and just do your work outside.
Yeah, and I'm thankful to live in a city where hiking trails are readily available, and it's a very beautiful experience, day, night, raining, or sunshine.
How often do you have these hiking trips?
We've started a hiking challenge, actually, so it's every Thursday morning now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the only downside is mosquitoes.
Oh, trust me, I know.